CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Well, for the second time in as many weeks, heavy rain is pounding Vancouver Island, and the West Coast once again is being hit the hardest. Commuters heading to or from Souk may have been tempted to trade their car for a canoe today. Water is pooling on the highway, ditches and culverts are full, and in some cases the heavy rain has been spilling over onto the roadway. Forecasters promise a wet week, and first responders are reminding you and asking you again to slow down.
Well, there's still lots of big puddles. Storm drains are going to get plugged up with leaves, and things can back up, ditches overflow. So not big floods like we've seen in the past, but standing water, you hit it just right. It doesn't take more than an instant and you're off the road.
The rainfall warnings for the day have ended, but periods of rain are still expected over Vancouver Island tonight. CTV's Todd Vanderheyden is in Rome covering this historic vote, and he joins us now. Todd, thanks for being here. Take us through the process. We saw black smoke today. What happens tomorrow? There's a feeling, I understand, that this process may not take too long.
In fact, Hudson, that's exactly what we are hearing from our Vatican analysts who've been here on the ground with us for the past couple of days. Effectively, there is going to be another vote tomorrow in the morning. There are going to be 2 rounds of balloting, and we are expecting to see smoke come out of the Sistine Chapel's chimney late in the morning Rome time. Before that, though, we are expecting a lot of discussion to be going on as we speak inside of the residence where the cardinals are now staying. And this is what we're hearing, that the focus is going to shift because, of course, Hudson, there's no real discussion or political maneuvering or lobbying that goes on inside the conclave itself. It's simply prayer and voting for the man the cardinals think should be the next pope. Where the discussion comes, where the conversations happen, of course, off the record and outside of any sort of listening devices or contact with the outside world, is inside these residences where the cardinals can talk. Now they know how the first ballot broke down, who got the most number of votes, who came in second. So we'll see some positioning going on here, repositioning perhaps on the part of some of the cardinals. We know in the case of John Paul II, he did not get a lot of votes in the first ballot. He ended up becoming the pope. So oftentimes the lead contender does not come out of the conclave as a pope, but rather a cardinal.
Very much like a leadership political convention. Now, Todd, one of the 3 cardinals from Canada in the conclave is considered maybe not a favorite, but certainly a contender, Cardinal Ouellet. And there's a huge crowd of pilgrims in St. Peter's Square, many Canadians there. What have they told you?
Well, they're very excited, Hudson, at the possibility of actually having a Canadian pope. We've talked to a lot of them, including some from British Columbia, who are here for this historic moment. They realize that history is about to be made for the Catholic Church. And let's face it, the Pope is a world leader. So a lot of them were excited to be here today to see that black smoke. And, of course, you can be sure they're going to be back in St. Peter's Square, hoping tomorrow and, of course, on Thursday as well, if it goes to that, to see the white smoke. We are hearing that this will likely be a shorter conclave rather than a longer conclave, because the cardinals want to show unity. They want to show that they are not a house divided, and the longer the conclave goes, of course, more questions will be asked. And bear in mind that their pre-conclave meetings, they had 8 or 9 days, Hudson, to discuss a lot of the challenges facing the church, talk about the contenders, including Cardinal Mark Ouellet. He does remain on everybody's short list, but we're also hearing about an Italian contender, Angelo Scola, the Archbishop of Milan. Bear in mind, though, of course, lots of top contenders. We won't know until the Pope himself actually comes out on that balcony in St. Peter's Square.
We will see what happens tomorrow, and we'll check back with you then. CTV's Todd Vanderheyden in Rome. Todd, thank you.
Thanks very much, Hudson.
They've been fluctuating for the past couple of weeks, and now gas prices in the capital region are up again, just in time for spring break travel. This time they're going through the roof. If you didn't fill up this morning, you'll pay 22 cents more per liter to top up your tank tonight. The jump at the pump came late this afternoon, going from $1.14.9 to as high as $1.36.9 for a liter of regular. For comparison, prices in Mill Bay and Duncan right now are at about $1.26.4. Well, the lights went out at the Esquimalt Recreation Center last night after a vehicle crashed into the main hydro box and cut off the power to the building. The timing couldn't be worse. The crash happened Sunday. There was a temporary fix in place to keep the lights on and the power flowing, but that failed last night. So all day programs and recreation facilities were closed today. It's bad timing because this week, of course, is spring break, and the center was teeming with kids taking advantage of all of the day camps Esquimalt Rec offers.
Well, it's quite an inconvenience, that's for sure. The good thing about this is other recreation centers are good at taking our passes in an emergency situation.
A generator was brought in this morning that restored some minimal power to the building. The Esquimalt Rec Center says it will keep you informed through social media, so check Facebook, Twitter, and the Rec Center website at esquimalt.ca. Well, Tourism Victoria is resurrecting the phone booth to make a pitch to people across British Columbia, Alberta, and Washington to come here and visit. It's the Victoria Calling campaign, encouraging people to dial up the capital as their destination. Phone booths will be set up in Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Seattle. And inside, visitors will find a tablet displaying a virtual tour of Victoria. There'll also be opportunities to win prizes and to book extended stays at Victoria hotels.
We think that really showcasing Victoria experiences in that first-person perspective is really going to inspire someone to want to experience it for real.
People come here to experience the beautiful city, but the outdoor aspect is really, really important for our consumers. So we're going to give them more of that. And for those that don't know, they need to see that. But we've also captured some of the traditional things that built this brand in the first place, like Tea at the Empress, and the flower theme, of course, which represents the Butchart Gardens and many of our other gardens. So I think it's a great balance and a great mix of what got us to be this destination and what is evolving us to new consumers.
The budget for the Victoria Calling campaign is about $400,000. Tourism Victoria will be keeping a close eye on hotel occupancy rates in the weeks and months ahead to see if the campaign has been a success. And there's a new survey of cruise ship passengers that says Canadians are a friendly, non-threatening people. That's good to hear, but it also says that we do not provide much in the way of excitement. The numbers are based on more than 14,000 questionnaires, which were filled out by passengers in 7 different ports, including Victoria's Ogden Point. Canada scored highest in the feeling safe when going ashore and the friendliness categories, but we're at the low end of the scale when it comes to things to do and the shopping experience. BC accounts for about 60% of Canada's cruise ship industry. It was just last week police were sounding the alarm over troubling new statistics that show that BC drivers still are not getting the message about distracted driving. Well, tonight, police in Abbotsford are releasing something that shows the stark reality of what distracted driving can lead to. We warn you that you may find it disturbing, and police say that is exactly the point. The video starts with a group of people, including children, at a crosswalk. The alert driver on your left sees them and stops, but the car entering from the right does not. Police say the driver was distracted and was looking in her purse. The 64-year-old victim in the accident survived, but faces a long recovery.
We get that it's provocative, but we need to get people's attention. This is a serious matter, and even a momentary distraction can have very impactful consequences, as demonstrated in this video.
Police across the province are asking you to stop being distracted when you drive and make road safety your top priority throughout the year. RCMP and Nanaimo say they have made a significant drug bust and believe they have taken deadly doses of heroin off the streets. Police seized 46 grams of drugs and $1,500 in cash from a home in Departure Bay. Mounties say over the past couple of weeks, 2 people have died suddenly in Nanaimo, and they believe heroin overdoses are to blame.
We just wanted to bring to light the fact that this was the first seizure of heroin in some time, and coincidentally in our community we have had some sudden deaths involving where we believe that illicit drugs are used. We just wanted to bring that to the attention of the public.
3 men are now facing charges of possession for the purpose of trafficking. Nanaimo RCMP want to know if you have seen these dirt bikes. They were last seen in a backyard shed in the 2300 block of Bowen Road. Neighbors in the area say they heard 2 dirt bikes speeding off about 3 o'clock this morning. The number 777 and the name Brandon Williams is deckled on both bikes. They're worth about $10,000 apiece. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Nanaimo RCMP or Crime Stoppers. An RCMP officer who was found guilty of aggravated assault is now filing an appeal. Court documents show Constable David Pompeo is fighting to overturn his conviction, which was handed down in a Duncan courtroom last month. Pompeo was charged after a routine traffic stop in Chemainus ended with him shooting an unarmed man in the neck. The BC Court of Appeal will review the application. Pompeo continues to serve as an RCMP officer in Nanaimo on restricted duty. Well, if you plan to leave your car at the Comox Valley Airport, or if you'll be picking somebody up or dropping them off, expect to pay more for parking soon. As of April 1st, parking rates at the airport will go up an average 17%. That's up to an extra $1.50 a day or $9 per week. The airport CEO says the increase is meant to offset the rise in operational costs.
It's just part of the non-aeronautical revenue that we count on, as well as what we get from the airlines, to keep CVAC running as well as it does. And that's our responsibility, of course, to make sure we work in the black. That's what we're trying to be, is just upfront about it. Don't expect you to like it, but at least no one's going to suggest that we try to pull a fast one here.
The Comox Valley Airport says it still offers the lowest weekly parking rates of the 3 biggest airports on Vancouver Island. The Nanaimo's Performing Arts Centre is getting an encore with $160,000 in upgrades. The city-owned building needs an envelope and roof repair. It's a popular venue for cultural and arts events. The society that operates it was worried that the deteriorating space would drive user groups away, but says now it's going to be a draw.
We've had many delegations go before council and speak in support of the issue, and also I know that mayor and council have also received many letters of support, not only from people who use the facility, but the neighboring residents, neighborhood associations and business owners in the neighborhood as well.
A start date for the renovations has not yet been set.